Need to throw something in on us, so that's what we work as. But who's that? Miss Rosemary, Miss Michelle, Miss Pam, Miss Esther. All right. All right. We'll go ahead and call this regular council meeting of the Village of Woodlawn to order, August the 27th, 2024. We'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation. Ms. Chandler.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, right now we just want to pause and thank you again for allowing us to come out and do what is best for the business and for our residents here in the Village of Woodlawn. Lord, we ask that you do a special blessing and just watch over the houses that make up our village. Lord, we ask a special blessing on our seniors here in the Village of Woodlawn, and especially during this heat as we have right now. Lord, we ask these blessings in thy Son Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen. Amen. Roll call, please.
Mayor Poole?
Present.
Esther Boyd?
Present.
Rosemary Brown?
Present.
Cindy Chandler?
Present.
Kimberly Fitzgerald?
Present.
Robert Lawson, who is absent. Michelle Starr?
Present.
Need a motion to excuse Mr. Lawson?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Lawson from tonight's council meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes.
Aye.
Very well. All right. Reading and disposal of previous minutes. Regular council meeting, July 30th, 2024. With any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes in front of us, I will need a motion to approve the minutes. Are there any corrections noted in the minutes? Having none, is there a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes.
Aye.
Very well. All right. Public hearing tax budget that was scheduled that we had on August the 19th, 2024. There is a piece of legislation that will go along with that public hearing. Again, we are aware that the purpose of that hearing is for us to get the tax budget for 2025 down to the auditors in a timely fashion, and I believe that we're going to take care of that by hold tonight. Is that correct? All right, very well. All right. Committee commission reports. Recreation Committee, August the 5th, 2024. Ms. Brown.
Recreation met on August the 5th at 6:30 p.m. Present for the meeting was myself and Ms. Boyd. Mr. Lawson was excused from the meeting. Also present was Pam Fitzgerald and Ms. Paul Sherman. There was a brief discussion of the overall department overall update. Ms. Sherman showed a video called National Fitness Campaign, and it showed an exercise system for the community that we're looking to get more information on. It has to do with some outside exercise equipment, and there's going to be more information coming forth on that. Also, there was a health and wellness fair that was held, and it was a great event. I believe at that event, the mayor did some cooking with some of our seniors, and we had a lot of good things go on with that health and wellness fair. Also, there was our concert series. Our concert series ended on August the 22nd, and it was a very good series, I'll say. We had a variety of different entertainment, something different, and the reception of it was great. Also, the Symphony Orchestra came, and that was a great event as well. There was a wonderful turnout for that event, and even though it rained, we had people sitting out in the rain with their umbrellas. So, I mean, it was great. So Ms. Sherman is going to see if she can get that again for us next year. Staffing for the Recreation Department. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, we're going to have to reopen those applications again, the opening for that. So we're in the process of doing that now, and we should be beginning to look at some more applications and doing some interviews shortly. Let's see what else. Ms. Sherman, she received a grant for Hispanic African American Program for Youth. She's working with that program. There's more updates to come with that as well. Swim lessons are going well, but water aerobics, it seemed to have been in low attendance. The big yard sale that was held this past Saturday, we had a great turnout, and we got requests to have it again next year. So since we're asking, you know, we got that request for next year, hopefully we can begin to schedule that earlier at a different date and time, but we'll look into that. That seems about it.
Very well. Good report. Any questions for Ms. Brown in Recreation? All right, having none. Economic Development, Ms. Fitzgerald.
Yes, Economic Development Committee met on August 6, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Who was present was myself, Rosemary Brown, Esther Boyd. Ms. Brown moved to excuse Ms. Boyd, and I seconded it, was all ayes. Some of the topics of discussion from the agenda was the Woodlawn logo. There was a handout that was passed out by our village manager, and we talked about the signage and logo of the village. Should we, you know, leave it as is, or should we add some type of musical theme to the present logo? And this logo we're talking about would be shared at a shared gateway along Springfield Pike and the village of Woodlawn with the city of Wyoming. Second thing we discussed was the Lee Crest Road Plan Unit Development. So we purchased some property on Lee Crest. There was a handout by our village manager of the initial concept and input. It was suggested to put high-end single homes on that property. There was lots of questions. Ms. Chandler voiced questions of, could we sell it to a developer? Which type of infrastructure is needed, and who would be responsible? There was also things stated, could this be part of the road improvement, and would we have the land to put public sewer on? So there was lots of questions around this possible new development, and there's more to come in some of our meetings that we have planned for the remainder of this year. The third topic we talked about was the Springfield Pike Plan. Mr. Engel, our village manager, talked about a plan for traffic. So we talked about a traffic diet, a road diet, sidewalks, bike lanes, and some type of development from the master plan, which we will continue talking about soon. And the fourth thing we talked about was the Woodlawn caboose, our current caboose. CT consultants determined that the caboose is not structurally sound. So there was a question about, where do we move forward? Do we keep the caboose? Do we use it in other areas of the village? And council wants to a working session to discuss further and look at some type of cost analysis. So these are the 4 topics that we talked about during the meeting, and we have scheduled other meetings. So if you're interested, please feel free to attend. The next meeting will be September 4th and October 2nd. And that pretty much concludes my report.
Very well, good report. Any questions for Ms. Fitzgerald on Economic Development? Having none. Committee of the Whole, August 13th. Ms. Boyd, is that you? Did you do Cal this month? Am I correct?
Oh, okay.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes. All right, we had a Committee of the Whole on August 13th, 2024, 6 o'clock. And present was Mayor Poole, myself, Rosemary Brown, Cindy Chandler, Pamela Fitzgerald, Robert Lawson, and Michelle Starr. Also, our directors, Victoria Banks, Director of Public Works, Paula Sherman, Director of Recreation, Assistant Chief Carter Pittman was in for Chief Johnson, and Lieutenant Robert Lawson. Reading and disposal, we did our reading and disposal of the minutes. Give me a minute here, because I did not know, I forgot that I was to do this. Parks and Recreation Department, there's so much going on there, and I mean, I'm really proud of it, we all are, but she gets such favorable reviews all around the community and even outside the community. Someone who lives out in Walnut Hills talked about hearing about everything going on here. But our concert series went really well, and Rosemary Brown and Mary Hill helped feed people, and it went really well. People really enjoyed that and looked forward to the food. So I give a shout out to both of those ladies. They worked very hard. And they're already asking who are we having next year and how it's going to go. They're so excited about it. And what are we going to have to eat, Rosemary? They're excited about that too.
And you can come. It's not free food though. Let's not get that messed up.
And then Paula has the Valley Health Fair, or had that Valley Health Fair. Ms. Sherman thanked everyone who attended the health fair, and she suggested that the fair be charged to, I'm sorry, the fair should be changed to later in the day and to have it outside. You had Tecum Farms field trip scheduled for August 24th. This was on August 13th. We had the meeting, so I'm not sure if they went or not. And then 4-Ager Club will be attending. 4-Ager Club, is that what she calls her senior club?
Foragers.
Oh, Foragers. Oh, okay. All right. What are Foragers? What do you know? Who they are?
They go pick,
They're the
Produce.
people, the
things that
berries.
grow out in the.
Oh, at Tecum Field. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The Queens Village will have an annual kayaking event. Ms. Fitzgerald stated that the village needs a marketing person, and that we'll be looking to utilize Public Allies and/or Ohio Broadcasting School for the concerts. Or just in general?
Marketing.
Just in general.
Okay, just in general. Okay,
Village.
okay, for the village. And, right, and to use down at the recreation especially. Okay, and, let me see. All right, we had our Public Works review of everything going on there, and everything that Public Works has done. Cut grass and remove trees, and it's a whole barrage of stuff. They work very, very hard, and she has it in writing to prove it. Ms. Chandler asked about trash pickup on the weekends because of the overflow after the rental of the gazebo. So, and they've been leaving some trash, or they leave the trash down by the dumpster. Ms. Chandler?
They leave it at the trash cans at the gazebo, and it's just
Okay.
overflowing. So Village Manager Tim Ankle and I have met, and he's devising a plan, working with the respective departments.
Okay, thank you. And the fire department, we were talking about our transport service, has 5 contracts, and that's gonna bring business and money to Woodlawn. It's Chief Johnson really has done well and had that laid out. And he talked about a drone class. And we got the renewal of the fire levy will be on the ballot when you vote in November. Okay, and then the police department, they worked on a safety plan with Idea School and it included a walkthrough of the school. Discussed frosting of front windows and doors, visibility concerns, and reunification points, I'm sorry, in the event of a critical incident or attempting to streamline some protocols there, but they're working with Idea School with our children and, children there, and we appreciate that. They've had OVI check on the 17th, okay? And we have to get those approved through the state of Ohio, but we're hoping that we're working on, we're just working on keeping Woodlawn safe. So you may be seeing OVI checks around. We have an open position in the police department, and they've been interviewing candidates. Got a new cruiser dashboard cameras have been installed with minimal problems. They talked about Idea School and the children again, and their enrollment, and things that the police department will have to step up, I guess, because they have a bigger enrollment and the traffic issues. Police department is working with that, with Idea School. And the village manager reported had a report about Juneteenth, and we're planning to have our Juneteenth again next year, and it was successful with a few bruises, but we worked that out, and we learned from it, so we know what we need to do. But it was a successful event. Lee Crest, Redna Terrace, and Chester Road. We have construction going on there, and then we have Harry Holbert, who is overseeing our projects there, and they're running a lot smoother to have him with us. And the leaf and lawn pickup will start back up. And Ronnie Road and Woodstock at this point are done. There may be some things that we're gonna be working with, tweaking, especially Woodstock, but at this point, the project that we started is done. Let's see. Okay, we discussed a lot here. Talked about Wayne Avenue road improvements in Woodlawn. We closed on property on Warren Avenue, our properties on Warren Avenue. Good. And Neighborhood Allies will be returning on September 13th, and they still are working with us. They come the second Friday of every month. And the gun range is still planned to, the complex will be fully constructed, that they are going to, I assume in 2025. So the gun range should be gone by when? Did he say 20? Next year in 2025.
Next year.
Okay. Thought I heard you. Okay. Let's see. That's, okay. Let's see. Recreational marijuana, it's legal now, but at this point, we decided that you will not be able to buy it in Woodlawn. And so, and We Thrive has been doing a wonderful job, and we're working with her, Miss Mary Wagner. Let's see, and we adjourned at 9:03 p.m. Thank you, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Should have been more prepared, but.
No worries. All right, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there's a couple of things. One, I was a little bit surprised that maybe this happened after the economic development meeting. However, the success of the relaunch of the Pipe Grill, now called the Pipe Grill 2, I understand the council came out and was very big in the event. I did not get to see it, but is that true? And are you guys not going to include that, or?
Include,
This was the meeting.
So this was a meeting.
This was a
The
meeting.
note that she was referring to was a meeting.
What-
Anything outside of that, the council attends or participate in, that's kind of on what council, but what she was reading off was her minutes from
August
the.
5th.
Yes.
When was
Well, I
the,
wasn't really talking about against the committee of the whole, but I was thinking of it as the economic
oh,
situation.
economic
Okay,
development.
Yeah,
right.
so
It-
I just wanted to know why it would not have been included unless it happened after the fact.
It-
I thought when
It
we
did.
talked about events and things, just like talking about Juneteenth,
Mhm.
you're talking about something that's happening in the community and that, you know, we all need to know about it.
Right. So when we talk about Juneteenth, that is a village program that we put together.
Right.
When it comes to talk about a business, instead of using someone's business name, we do not promote their business from the bench.
Oh, you consider that promotion?
We would be promoting if we talked about his business
Okay.
and
I
what we
see.
did with his business,
I see.
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, for instance, there has been multiple businesses within the village that we were invited to come out as
Chipotle.
council. Chipotle, the most recent one, and we did not do that. Again, that was something that the company itself invited the village council to. But in terms of economic development, it would not come out of that meeting.
I see.
Yes.
I thought that names were included. Okay, so
No.
that's one thing. The second thing has to do.
One moment, please, Ms. Rosemary. One moment, she's speaking. One moment, please.
I just wanted to clarify
That's
something you
okay.
said.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I just want to clarify something you said, just so that there's no misunderstanding. When you talked about Chipotle inviting us out, you said we did not do that. We did go out.
We did
You
both.
meant- Yeah, you
Yes.
meant we did not include it in our minutes.
Right, we did.
That's what I
So
meant.
I don't want people
Same-
to
same
think
thing.
that we didn't, they invited us.
That's the
and
same
we
thing I
didn't.
was saying. Correct.
Yeah,
That's the same thing, just different wording, but correct.
yeah.
Yes. Ms. Connie?
Yeah, the second thing has to do with the leaf and lawn pickup restarting.
Mhm.
I'd like to know when that's going to occur. I'm really excited about that, and I think many of our residents would be happy about that as well.
So
Okay,
it'll be a
Okay.
soft pickup, right?
Yes.
So right now, we still have the contract with Rumpke. They'll still pick up as they normally do. We're working with Public Works to go ahead and start some select pickup dates. We, read more about it in my report, but we received a grant from Hamilton County for a chipper shredder that'll help with the brush pickup. The grant was approved and signed, and we were able to order the chipper, but there's a delay on getting that in. They have to get it into the company. So I've talked with Ms. Banks about, potentially renting a chipper for select dates to assist with some of those pickups. But, as soon as we can kind of get that put together, was also based on whether we could get some seasonal folks to help us out with it, because it is a big job to get all that around the village.
Mhm.
So as we continue to work on that, we'll go ahead and push those dates out. I know that's something the residents want to bring back, and we're working very hard to do it.
Great, thank you, Tim.
You're very welcome. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Boyd and Committee of the Whole?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Sure.
If I can. So, just a comment about the concert series. That was such a success that even today, I just got another compliment from the Hamilton County's Commissioner's President Assistant, saying how they came from Walnut Hills all the way to here. I think it was Walnut Hills. Just for that summer concert series. So many people are still complimenting about that and asking, are we gonna do it again next year?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then, that Tecum Farm that you mentioned, so several, Woodlawn residents, participated on the trip. I was one of them. And that, trip was a success as well, because, not only did we learn about their urban farming with the produce and the animals, but we could partner with them and use them as a resource to fund our garden, mulch and our garden, soil or whatever we need. And possibly even, because they have access to so much, wood there, that we could possibly use some of that wood for, our beds. And that day, I also ran into a resident who, I'm not gonna mention names,
Please don't.
but, who wanted to volunteer to help us with those gardening beds.
Okay, good.
So, and then you mentioned drone class. So I had a question for drone class. I saw all of the representatives that attend the class, but I didn't see if it was eligible for city council to come and take that class, because I'm very interested in.
So that one was for public safety officials, the 2,400, it's a
Yeah, I
class.
saw
that would-
several other neighborhoods listed, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's a national class that was made for public safety people, but there is another one from the FAA that you can't take.
Okay.
So, and we do push that out for folks to do too as well.
Okay. If
And I
you
can
can
give it to you.
email me and let me know. Thank you.
All right.
And then the gun range. I heard about the gun range
Yes.
today, that, I didn't know that the gun range been in, existence for 70 years.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And so
Yes.
I've been listening to it for 20 years,
We've
but
been
I
listening
didn't
to
know.
it for 57 on my end.
And we received a lot of financial support from not only here in the city, the county, but also Sherrod Brown at the federal
state.
level.
Yes.
Yes, state and
Yes.
federal level.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
awesome.
We
And I
started
think-
this journey in 2019. It's been going on for some time, and we've had somebody at that table. Every time they have a meeting, we have somebody at the table. But yeah, Mayor Farley was the mayor when all of that jumped off, and I attended multiple meetings with her back then to jumpstart this. So it's up and going, and it's gonna be gone to the bye-bye
And
next year.
some people who don't live nearby and are not affected and impacted by that gun range don't know the extensive impact that it has on surrounding neighborhoods. They only think, which I heard today, and I didn't say much, they only think Lincoln Heights because of a resident that is promoting the gun range to be moved. They're only thinking Lincoln Heights is one of the surrounding, or one of the impacted neighborhoods. And I think we need to become more visible when it's time for them to finally close it down, to, celebrate that. That is a huge, it's a huge success to have that gun range moved out of our area. So,
As you learn history, and like you heard today about the 70 years, and for me, and I'm looking down at Rosemary, who grew up in that area, knowing, hearing all of that. I would imagine that everybody in this room had some type of experience listening to that. It's been a cry, and when I say years, even before Durant's came out with the Heights movement, it has been a cry out about that. Our kids down at the school, right there at Lincoln Heights, where leaders would used to say that they're used to it. That's not acceptable. But again, we've come so far, and having somebody at the table each time that they have a meeting, talk about it. If it's not myself, it's our administration that's making sure that we're hearing what that plan is. So I'm just hopeful. I think it's scheduled for early spring, late spring,
Mid-2025,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's heading out of here. Ms. Chandler?
Yes, I'd just like to add to that, and thank you, Michelle, for bringing that point up. As the Mayor said, I think it was 2019, where the city council chambers, City of Cincinnati council chambers were packed, standing room only. Some people weren't even allowed in the building. So representatives from all neighboring communities that are affected, and some that weren't affected, were
They're
there to voice their opinion, and that's what really sparked this.
Yeah.
Although the City of Cincinnati's gun range has been in Evendale and has affected our communities, our neighbors, and us, it was just phenomenal to be a part of that and to witness everybody being on the same board as to, hey, let's get this thing moved out.
Yeah, yeah.
It has done enough damage to our communities.
Correct. Okay, good stuff.
you.
Appreciate that. But it's out of here next year. We can, for sure, and we'll all celebrate with everybody around town about that. But they gotta go, that's for sure. Finance Committee, Ms. Chandler.
All right, thank you. Finance Committee met on August 19, 2024 at 7 o'clock. The meeting, well, at 7:01, the meeting was called to order. Members present, myself and Pamela Fitzgerald. Ms. Starr was excused from the meeting that evening. Also present were Lauren Crisp, Director of Finance, Timothy Angle, Village Manager, Charles Willis, Tax Administrator, Ashley Madden, she is the Assistant Finance Director, Mayor Brian Poole, Councilmember Esther Boyd, Council Members Robert Lawson and Rosemary Brown. I'm not going to go through the entire report. As you know, we will have a finance update, but I'll highlight a couple of things on this report for us. So we'll look at receipt listings totaled for the end of July 2024. We had a final of $465,450.76 that totaled our receipt listings for July 2024. Then we move on to our, I'm sorry?
Not sure where you are.
I'm on page 30. I'm kind of jumping. I took notes, and so I'm just looking at the, if you look on the front page on the agenda, I am looking at the receipt listing, payment listing, and bank reconciliation. I'm going to go over the numbers and then discuss what was kind of talked about in the meeting. On page 30, we look at the bank reconciliation. The bank reconciliation was $6,259,652.78. And then finally, the payment listing, which is on page 25. Excuse me, it's a lot of pages in here. On page 25, the payment listings totaled $1,106,633.33. So some of the discussions surrounding the finance meeting we talked about, Finance Committee meeting, there was conversation about concession revenue being separated out from the Parks and Recreation revenue. Also, Ms. Fitzgerald noticed there was an increase in tree board. Mr. Angle was able to discuss that through, and basically we have to spend a dollar amount per capita of what that looks like for our village size. Also, there was discussion about the vendor that takes care of our ball fields. We know that there's been some concern about the baseball fields. We know that our residents are very concerned about that. So just want you all to know that we are on top of it, and we've put money into it, and again, working up a plan to keep the fields updated. Ms. Fitzgerald did bring that forward. And Mr. Angle was working again with the respective departments to handle that issue. Ms. Brown mentioned about maintaining private properties and what the process is as we use to complete legislation for lien assessments on their properties. The process currently is that code enforcement identifies the problem, it then goes to Public Works, and then finance will bill it out. And I think those are the major items that we talked about. Again, that was a short synopsis of the Finance Committee report, and it will be further discussed in length when we get to the Finance Director's report.
Very well.
Can I add
Any
something to that?
Yes.
Regarding the process, when it goes to code enforcement then follows a process. And notifying the property owners. And if
Right.
at that time, they do not, within a certain period of time, they do not do what's needed to be done, it then goes to Public Works.
Right.
And then once it goes to Public Works, we then create a payment
Correct.
that's needed.
Correct.
Yes.
Very good.
Consider taxes.
Any
Consider
questions?
property taxes.
Yes. Any questions for finance, Ms. Chandler? Cindy, would you like to approve that or just wait until Ashley does her report? It's on you.
I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the receipt, payment listing, and bank reconciliation.
I'll make a motion to approve the
He
receipts.
asked me what was that too.
That's your motion. Is that your motion? Was that your
I
motion?
asked for a motion. Ms. Starr is making the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the receipt listing and payment listings and bank reconciliation.
I'll second it.
Motion been moving properly, second. All ayes?
Aye.
Very well. All right. Municipal managers report.
Thank you. Let's try to move over things briefly. We're doing a lot of things in the village right now. Juneteenth 2025, our goal is to have a draft agreement for council to review at Committee of Whole. Lee Crest Road and Redmond Terrace. Lee Crest Road, construction will start on that next year. Redmond Terrace and Chester Road, construction has started. Duke Energy is in the process of replacing certain gas mains. As soon as those mains are replaced, we will go ahead and start kind of some of the heavy lifting. But we've been in contact with Duke as well as one of their as well as one of their third parties as well to make sure that everything is on schedule. Currently, we do not anticipate any delays in the deadline for the completion of the project. Lawn and leaf pickup, as we discussed, Hamilton County signed the grant agreement to purchase the new chipper for the village of Woodlawn. The village ordered the chipper and was informed it will be available within 60 to 90 days. The village will look into renting a chipper for the select brush pickup dates and leaf pickup dates. Hamilton County Revitalization Grant, we did purchase some homes on Springfield Pike with the purpose of tearing those homes down. We received notification from the Port Authority that we were approved for a $50,000 demolition grant, and we are working on the preliminary work to have those properties torn down, such as having utilities cut, performing other necessary items. The property should be demolished before the end of the year, so that'll be nice to have those gone. Just as a reminder, and we noted in the Committee of the Whole minutes, we did close on the Warren Avenue property, so that's some more land the village owns. Springfield Pike and Gruninger improvements are still being engineered. We're drawing the sidewalks that'll go on the Pike and Gruninger. Wayne Avenue Road improvements, again, we were funded through SORTA to make improvements to Wayne Avenue. We'll also attempt to add sidewalk improvements to that as well. Excuse me, we were funded by OPWC to make those improvements. We're looking to couple that with a SORTA grant to add sidewalks to it. Glendale Milford Road sidewalk improvements, we did receive a grant from SORTA, and the purpose will be to add some sidewalks to Glendale Milford Road. We discussed the regional safety complex briefly just a little bit ago. Again, date to move that will be, actually, I'm sorry, has been extended to April of 2026, so we've got another year. It's supposed to be moved and completely shut down. So, Tri-State Trails continue to work on the bike trails to go across the county. As we noted before as well, Neighborhood Allies will be back on September the 13th. With the fire department, we talked about this Committee of the Whole as well. We received notification that Governor DeWine signed a bill that contained language directing the Medicaid director to move forward with the implementation of the ambulance supplemental payment program last year. The program allows public ambulance providers to receive supplemental Medicaid payments to account for the difference between emergency transport costs and Medicaid payments. So basically what happens if transport from an ambulance costs about $1,000, we get about $200 of that, and the rest we kind of have to eat. Medicaid pays us $200 for that transport. The bill that Governor DeWine signed will allow municipalities to reclaim some of that lost Medicaid money through the federal government. We attended a meeting on August 13th. It was a stakeholders meeting to go over what would be necessary for us to be enrolled in this program. I was able to provide that information to the fire department. The assistant fire chief has been working to send that information over to MediCount, which is our medical billing provider, as well as their consulting team, so that we can try to get enrolled into the program. We want to try to we'll need to pass legislation to be enrolled in the program, because it'll be a change in our contract with MediCount. But we want to try to do that this year, because the payments flow through the state of Ohio, and those payments have to be part of their new budget. We will see the first payment, or the first payments related to this stuff, probably in 2026 with the timeline, but they're working to make those retroactive. So in theory, 2026 could be kind of a big year, and then the rest of the years kind of are more averaged out. Preliminary estimates, as we've talked to MediCount about this, seem to indicate that we could generate over $250,000 in additional payments related to EMS transport. So that helps us pay our people and continue to maintain our equipment to provide that service to the village. Also noted in Finance Committee, the fire department received a grant of just over $83,000 to pay bonuses to fire department staff. Grants of this nature go a long way in retention, and there's legislation on the agenda related to that grant tonight. And just as a reminder, legislation has been approved to place the fire levy on the ballot this year in November. The village has done everything they need to do to put that on the levy. Also, there is for the ballot, there's also amendments to the charter, so please be aware of those things as you move into November. Buildings and other issues, we are still working on the building survey with CT Consultants. I know they are working to schedule times with all of our department heads to discuss what they would like to see in new buildings and improvements or renovations to the current buildings. The goal of this is to give us a capital improvement plan for village facilities, so we can determine whether it makes sense to renovate what we have, build something new, or somewhere in the middle. The village submitted a grant application to OKI for related to Springfield Pike updates. There will be a traffic study related to this potential grant application as well. We should have information about that coming up in October, was the proposed deadline. The village was approved for a community revitalization grant from Hamilton County. This grant will be utilized to construct a new parking lot on Taconic Terrace that will accommodate food trucks. The lot will benefit our businesses and that have experienced significant growth and have run out of parking to accommodate new employees. The lot will also encourage some economic development by providing spaces for food trucks, and that'll provide a new amenity to the village. The grant is valued at over $279,000. We discussed in Finance Committee that the village is looking into financing for an additional dump truck, pickup truck for Public Works, as well as an SUV for the police department. The village was provided with a very competitive interest rate of 5.15% from Flagstar, which is the same group that helped us with our fire engine. The village was provided with a contract and other materials related to the debt, which was subsequently forwarded to our bond attorney. Glendale Milford Road, people may have noticed that we've shut down the leftmost eastbound lane of Glendale Milford Road, a portion of that. There is a sinkhole starting in that lane. The engineers determined that it was unsafe to leave that open. We are working with the engineering firm to get that repaired. There is some question as to whether that sinkhole is related to some pipes that are essentially the property of MSD, so we're looking into that as well to make sure that we're only repairing our stuff, we'll say.
That's good.
I know Ms. Brown mentioned the National Fitness Campaign. I was able to meet with Jack Linehan from the campaign last week. He provided us with a YouTube video to watch about the fitness structures that they're building, their outdoor fitness studios, I guess we'll call them. The one specifically in the video kind of has, it's kind of split into two pieces, Half of it is almost like a rubber mat that you could do yoga on or activities of that nature. The other half would be basically resistance activities, so you can do pull-ups and sit-ups and things like that. There's grant money available to construct these items, and we may discuss this more in committee of the whole. Forest Park actually has 2 of these. They have 2 different types. The type in the video, and then they've got another one that's kind of like a they call like a ninja studio,
Okay.
that you kind of jump around on or that kind of thing. Actually got to speak with their village manager recently, and he said that the community seems to appreciate them quite a bit over at Forest Park. So I noticed the one is up on Kemper Road. If anybody wants to drive by and see it, it's out there.
Okay.
As we also mentioned in committee of the whole, there was an OVI checkpoint over the weekend. There was some question about the checkpoint. I think the PD wanted to make it very clear that the checkpoint wasn't related to any business in the village of Woodlawn. It was for safety purposes. We have had issues in the past where people have driven into our street lights and then fled. And so part of the goal is to curtail that, but also just to pass out information. The state did consider this a huge success. There were 650 vehicles that were spoken to. There were no OVIs. Nobody was drunk. Nobody went to jail.
Good.
But we did find out that there was one medical emergency, and PD and the paramedics were able to help that individual.
Good.
So it was good to have them there that night,
Yeah.
change somebody's life, and maybe save their life.
Sure.
So
Good stuff.
yeah, great result there.
Good job.
There will be other ones throughout the village, we know throughout the year, probably not in that exact same area, but throughout the village.
Okay.
For those same safety reasons.
Okay.
And that is all I have in my village manager's report.
Any
Question.
Yes, sorry.
Am I correct in understanding that's something that was scheduled months ago?
Yes. Yeah, the checkpoints are scheduled months in advance.
Yes.
And it's really all through the state of Ohio.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michelle, did you have a question?
Yeah, Tim, you mentioned Juneteenth for next year.
Mhm.
So there was interest with Metro to help next year
Oh, okay.
by possibly providing transport
Okay.
for some of the residents or visitors. But I want to send them your way, and also to provide swag, we can
Okay.
give away.
Well,
So is it okay if I send them your way?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And then Ronnie in Woodstock, you made a comment saying construction was completed and additional river rock was placed for aesthetics.
Mhm.
I recall at committee of the whole, there was a resident asking about, or mentioning some issues. For the viewers, do you need to share an update beyond that? Aesthetics on repairs, immediate
So-
repairs that are needed?
Yeah, so I mean, the physical street itself is done, so like the blacktop of the street and all that are completed. Public Works has been out to add additional river rock, kind of clean things up a little bit. I have met with the resident a couple of times. We're still trying to work things out with her a little bit. But we are looking into or planning to have the engineers here at Committee of the Whole to kind of go over that project.
Okay.
And if there are any questions, we can kind of direct them to them. They can go over the history of the project
Okay.
and why things were done a certain way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Communications, petitions, clerk, is anybody signed up to address council tonight? Okay. I'm sorry? Dr. Waller, come on up.
Hello, everyone.
Hello there.
Hello and welcome.
I mean, you guys do a great job you're doing.
Good job. Thank you.
And I am here trying to get a situation rectified with, Woodlawn Meadows.
Okay.
Now, the original complex was put in, street was not originally dedicated, street was then dedicated. We then have an HOA, which I started serving on, and I then discover that we get a bill from Duke Energy, and we pay to have green space where 2 retention ponds are mowed. And I've mentioned this in discussion with the mayor, just questioning, going, is this green space part of the village? And why are the residents of Woodlawn Meadows paying a Duke electric bill?
2 questions, right?
2 questions.
Okay.
Those are 2.
Tim, I want you to answer on that because we do know, we have some record of us paying Duke on those lightings.
Yeah, I'd like to, if you can give me some copies of those bills, I'd love to see them. I know that we receive a bill as the village for the Woodlawn Special Improvement District as well. So I'm curious what Duke is billing you for directly as opposed to what they're billing the village for. And then in terms of the retention ponds, you know, I would have to look at the original, or the documents related to that area. I know there are certain, you know, depending on how things are written, I know certain things are the responsibility of the HOA. I think historically the HOA has been maintaining them. But, you know, if I'm just being brutally honest, I don't know what the
Emily, do
history
you
of
have any
it
history on
was.
that?
My
Can you speak
recollection
to
is that when that was approved, that the HOA would be responsible for the retention pond areas as well as a maintenance easement that goes behind the, is it the west, east side?
What side do you live on?
East side.
I'm
South.
west side,
You-
Woodstock is west.
The other end of Woodstock.
That's
Behind this
south.
building.
That's
This
south.
That going up Maggie Forest is west.
That's
Coming
west.
down is
So it's
east.
the east side.
East.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the east side, isn't it? But the
That's north and south.
Okay,
There's a retention pond here on the north side,
right.
and there's a retention pond at the south side.
Right, but there's
Correct.
also a drainage easement that goes behind the houses,
On the opposite end.
behind this, on the
Yes.
side that's behind this building.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
also the responsibility of the HOA.
So I guess my next question is, who made this determination?
The developer,
The developer?
yes.
That cannot be changed.
No, that was
No, I'm asking.
I mean, if you wanted to ask the village to take on that responsibility, you certainly could. I don't know that, I mean, that was the deal that was made when the development was proposed and put in
So-
place.
So who owns?
The HOA owns that property.
Interesting. All right, and the same thing happened with, as far as paying the bill for the streetlights?
I don't know anything about the streetlights.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to bring the bills in, I'd be
Compare them.
curious. Because I know when, you know, back when I was finance director, I would pay a bill for the Woodlawn Special Improvement District, which is what you are. So I'm curious what your bill relates to as opposed to what the village's bill relates to.
Interesting.
I think that'd be interesting to call Duke and determine that. We do have a Duke representative, and I can forward those to him and try to get clarification.
Okay.
So that land is deeded to the HOA?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. It's not, I believe that the village did not, that was never going to be something that the village was going to be responsible for.
No, it wasn't.
I've never seen a deed. All right, I'm just curious.
Well,
I'm
it would
asking
be, it
questions.
wouldn't necessarily be in the deed, it would be in the subdivision plat
Yeah.
for the property.
So all of that should be at the Hamilton, you can get it through the Hamilton County Auditor, I believe,
Right.
Recorder's office.
Recorder's Office, yeah.
So in terms of that lighting, you're going to, as a follow-up, you're going to provide him as a copy or courtesy of looking at both sides, so what we have, what we've been paying versus what he's receiving and paying as well, correct?
Yeah,
To see
absolutely.
where the breakdown is?
And like I said, I'm curious to know what they're paying for as well.
Right.
I know we do.
Right, Wow.
And
okay,
we'll forward it to our Duke rep and we'll figure out what everybody's paying for.
okay.
Okay.
And so it just, it makes me think, I'm going backwards to the Woodview subdivision, that is also a HOA subdivision. And at any time, have you ever heard, and I know that you're long behind. That was over 30-something years ago when that was built.
Sure.
But I have never heard that even those residents over there, out of their HOA, are paying for lighting over there, street lighting.
No, nothing I'm
Yeah,
aware of. And
that's what I'm
there's-
saying. I wouldn't.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I take it back, yes. When we first had the new lamp posts put in, they were trying to attach that to the homeowner's bill. And we had to have Duke meet, repeatedly, meet with the village to say, no, that's not the HOA, that is the village. So that was just recent when we got the new lighting, the new lighting
got the
on
new
our
lighting.
street.
Mhm.
It was
Okay.
a long discussion.
Okay.
But it was a discussion that did,
Okay.
it worked,
Okay.
so.
So Tim will follow up with Dr. Waller on that, just so he can have a visual, and you can have a visual as well, because that is kind of alarming why we double paying. That's what I'm saying.
And Dr. Waller, I just want to say, and Tim, this was brought to my attention as well, and I did do some research and history and passed it forward. So thank you for coming out again tonight to keep this on the forefront, and hopefully it will get resolved soon.
So one other interesting question. Glendale doesn't blow the train horn in their village. Do we have to have
We
the
do.
train horn blown?
They have a quiet zone. They have to make, you have to make substantial improvements in order to qualify for a quiet zone. I don't know off the top of my head, but they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it took a very long time to get a quiet zone, in Glendale.
Quiet zone, i.e. you have to meet certain regulations
You
to
do.
have a quiet zone?
It is a very in-depth process. I know Wyoming has looked into doing it a couple of times, and they've always determined that it was cost prohibitive.
And I think I recall
Okay.
hearing CSX, the train, people say that that section where, I just know Marion because I live near that section of the track. Some of those tracks do not have what it takes. Like you said, the regulations, they have the long arms, but you need more than the long arms to be considered a quiet zone, because that horn acts as a deterrent with the quiet arm, or with the long arms, and there was something else. So yeah, there's like a very expensive fix that need to be put in place in order to become a quiet zone.
Okay.
But before we go off of that, the subject of the HOAs, I just would like to make a comment. Is, in fairness for the residents in Meadows, Woodlawn's, our subdivision has an easement in the back, and that easement is maintained and cared for by the village and not us, the HOA. So I'm wondering how that, and it could be because that could have been the agreement back then.
That's
Good.
the
But-
agreement.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there is something that they could do to have the village cover. You know, is that another discussion? I don't know, I
It
just
is.
brought it up to say, in
Okay.
comparison and fairness, that one subdivision is getting that
Right.
support. Okay.
We'll get that. Tim will follow up with you.
Tim, I'll
Okay?
get a copy of the bill.
What's that?
Yeah.
I'll get a copy of what they told us.
That'd be
Yes.
fine. Yeah, and I'll
Yeah, okay.
print off a couple
And
of
I'll
ours
drop it
too.
off to you.
We'll
No,
compare.
I'll drop that to you.
Yeah, that'd be
You
fine.
can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, all righty.
All
All
right.
right,
Good
thank
stuff.
you.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it. Finance Director's report. Are you all set back there for our report tonight? Tim got it?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay, at Finance Committee, various reports have been provided. Budget versus actual reports were provided, which noted that revenues,
Hey,
budget
Tim.
revenues versus, yes, sir.
Excuse me, I apologize for the break-in. I overlooked, we have some visitors that want to address us from We Thrive, and I apologize for that. If you don't mind, Mr. Tim, I apologize, but ladies, if you want to come on up with We Thrive, just kind of want to briefly explain to us some of these good numbers I'm looking at here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to present to council.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Jones. I am the new population health specialist assigned to Woodlawn. Wonderful.
Woodlawn.
That's right.
And so it's been a pleasure to work with a lot of the members here on council at events that have gone on in the village this past week, Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago, working with the Health and Wellness Fair was fantastic, and it was really a privilege to be there and share the We Thrive initiative, and to also see the navigators, both Coffee Higgins and Mary Wagner, present We Thrive to various village residents to really get them excited about health and equity in terms of how Hamilton County Public Health and We Thrive in the Village of Woodlawn can continue to make residents happy, healthy, and successful. So I have a short presentation. I also have some handouts in front of you guys that talk a little bit about the We Thrive initiative, and also my role as the population health specialist appointed by Hamilton County. So without further ado, I'll get right into it. So the presentation that you have in front of you just talks about what the We Thrive initiative actually is, if you want to do the next slide for me. So we focus on 6 pathways that really focus on chronic disease, emergency preparedness, environmental health, injury prevention, social connection, and harm reduction. And so every We Thrive team, there we go, is that better?
That's better.
Okay, awesome, okay. So every We Thrive team can take on different initiatives underneath these different little pathways. And so previously, in the history of Woodlawn, they have done a lot of environmental health and chronic disease, and social connection. And that specifically speaks to the Garden Initiative, and also several other initiatives that are listed in this presentation as well. On our next slide, I do want to celebrate that Woodlawn has been a We Thrive community since 2009. It's one of the original OG communities, so that's a blessing, that's amazing. And so we want to continue to see Woodlawn thrive and do amazing work in terms of working with Thrive. On the next slide, you'll see just some of the things that the We Thrive initiative provides in terms of support, collaboration, data, recognition, and celebration. Earlier this year, We Thrive gave council and also members of the We Thrive community a data profile that showed the breakdown of various different markers within the Woodlawn Village. And so that data was then used to inform projects and focus areas for the We Thrive team. And just to kind of give an overview, so the We Thrive initiative is not just the garden, it can be much more than that. And just attending the last event, the Health and Wellness Fair, a couple Saturdays ago, we kind of tried to talk with the residents about chronic disease and food access and healthy food access and options, in addition to just being able to know information about what resources are available through Hamilton County. And that could also be harm reduction, CPR classes, Narcan distribution, any type of program that would really help the residents of Woodlawn. On our next slide, I just have an outline of the We Thrive process. So the We Thrive Garden Club members have recently become We Thrive members. So now they kind of understand a little bit more that they are just a subset or a project under the We Thrive initiative, and so they will be tackling much more larger and complex projects in the future. I've hinted that I would love to see this team continue to grow, and it was just such a blessing to have the council approve a $10,000 budget, which I will be working with the We Thrive representatives and Paula to kind of have a breakdown and also kind of help them kind of see where that funding could be allocated in terms of the overarching umbrella of We Thrive. Okay. I've got some big ideas, so I'm really glad to be working with them.
Good.
And so this is just the process. You adopt a resolution, you form a team, which is already in place. There's a community assessment, so Woodlawn is not due for a community assessment until next year, so I'll be working on the team with that. And then we identify focus areas. So this year there are a number of focus areas that are highlighted in the presentation: social connectedness, chronic health, chronic disease, and also environmental health as well. And so these are just the pathways, again, broken down just to kind of see how they fall. And this is a new rollout from the Hamilton County Public Health, and it's called the Pathways and Focus Areas and the Foundation of Equitable Communities. So this document probably looks really familiar to a lot of the We Thrive members. So we'll just make sure that we reference this when we try to do projects within the village under the We Thrive umbrella. And so the best part is the next slide, which is some of the community projects that Woodlawn has previously worked on. Miss Mary's Garden continues into 2024. There was the annual farmers market, which also happened 2 weekends ago. The Heart to Heart Walk, which I would love to see that again. That was a fantastic event that I heard historically is fantastic. And also the free swimming lessons. Currently in 2024, there's also been some classes that are geared towards seniors, if I'm remembering correctly, and also some projects in regards to social connectedness, including the concert series that we also will count for We Thrive recognition for the Village of Woodlawn. Below is just some other initiatives that have gone on with other We Thrive communities. All of them are fantastic, and so we just want to highlight those two, give some more examples. All right. And so on the next slide, it just kind of shows the team expectations. So I work really closely with the team. Every month we meet, and I also meet with both of the navigators, Coffee Higgins and Mary Wagner, one-on-one to go over barriers, talk about how we can make improvements to the team, how we can actively recruit, and make sure that we have a presence in Woodlawn so residents know all the good work that we can continue to do with our partnership. Yes, so this is the process. I think that might be our last slide. I do have contact information on the back. If you would ever need anything from me as your health department, I'm happy to serve and want to be as present as I can in Woodlawn to make sure I can be here for the residents. Previously in working with the We Thrive team, I know historically, I think pre-COVID, way back in the day, we did have some involvement from fire, EMS, and some couple other departments. And on behalf of the health department and the We Thrive team, we would love to see them return.
Okay.
I'm not trying to put the spotlight on them, but I know they are such an asset to this village, and so I think they would be an asset to our We Thrive team as well. And that may not be coming to every meeting or being present at every event, but we would love to see them because I know they do fill up the water containers for the garden. That's really integral to the growth and development of the garden. Residents are really excited about the garden. And from that garden, we've been able to partner, we are pursuing a partnership with the Civic Garden Center to really get residents more education on gardening. So you'll see a lot of hustle and bustle around the garden in the near future. And so we're really excited. And that credit goes to Coffee Higgins for pursuing that with the Civic Garden Center. And she's just been doing a fantastic job in addition to Mary Wagner as well. The second document just talks about the pathways and has a breakdown. I'm not going to go over that because that's a lot of paper. But it just goes into the pathways a little bit more in depth and offers some more understanding of what all of these pathways do and what projects can be done under these specific pathways. I think, and I did also want to celebrate that we really appreciated it here at Hamilton County Public Health as a little subdivision of the village of getting a Facebook page for both the We Thrive initiative and the garden. So there is now a project tab within the Facebook and social media. So now we are on Facebook and Instagram.
Nice.
And so one of the major things that the We Thrive team has said is that we need to get connected within Woodlawn. And so people need to know what's going on. And so it was just a blessing to have that granted from the village. So we do want to thank you for that. And Coffee Higgins has been appointed to do the social media. So she kind of works with Paula and myself to make sure the residents know what's going on. And we can see their lovely faces at events.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Michelle, before you go, before you
be-
go, you can't leave without questions.
Oh my gosh, I tried to run.
I don't have any questions. Again, this initiative, we were the first, as you would say, the OGs. Yes, we were first, and this grows. Every year it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're involving things and trying to keep people healthy, which is the highlight of the program to me. And then just having some different things that we're doing, as again, growing, some things that we have not done in the past. So Coffee, Miss Mary, your team down at the Public Health at We Thrive, thank you so much. I think everybody's enjoyed that. Everybody enjoyed that. Yes, Dr. Waller?
Who's on the team from the village?
Coffee, Michelle, Mary Wagner.
And I was a part of the team
So I'm here
in 2009, is that correct?
When it, back, yeah,
Back then,
Back then.
yes. So we were a pilot program
Yes.
and it's been sustained.
Connie was.
And Connie McWilliams as well.
All right, so we've come a long way, right? In participation throughout the village over the years, we've come a long way. And so we're just gonna continue to build on it and make it better each year. But again, thank you so much for sharing this information. This is good information for me. It becomes a little eye-opening on some of these, right? But good information to have, right?
I got a question.
So, sure.
I know in years past, this data, there was like a book, a this data? Do you still have more data?
That's a good question. I'm the default.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm wondering if you're remembering our community health assessments. Those
I
are
think
a
so.
little
It was
bit
a few years
longer.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, those are a little bit longer. The data profiles will be coming out yearly. The community health assessments will be like every couple of years. So
Okay.
they're not as frequent, but those are the longer documents I think that you might be thinking of. But yeah, those are smaller, almost like a summary of all the good stuff.
So do you know the last year this was done, that you have available?
That's the most recent.
No, I'm saying the booklet. Because I
The
received
community health
one.
assessment, I'll look, and
Okay.
I'll get with Michelle, and we can
Okay.
do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Michelle.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so,
Go ahead.
sorry, so, I heard her ask, for more representation from, Woodlawn, like via fire, police, public works, just more to help, I guess, add more value to this We Thrive in Woodlawn. And I know that We Thrive meets once a month, second Monday of the month, or something like that. What is it that we can do to help her with that ask?
I can't answer that. I
No,
think
it's
that
an
has to go to
open
the village.
question.
Yeah, but again, when we talk about personnel,
Mm-hmm.
right, and moving people, right, we can't, you can't make someone go, right? We've asked, right? And I think as she indicated, through the pandemic, things just kind of just trickled off, right? But again, I think as we circle back, we're getting bigger, we're getting stronger, you know, the ask will go to them, hey, we would like for you to be, and I don't see them not being involved. I just think that it's just about reintroducing and re-inviting them to the meetings, yeah.
Tim, you
Yeah.
can follow up with that.
Okay.
Make a,
Yes.
Ms. Coffey has sent me an email. He sent me an email about a week or so ago, and I had forwarded to you to get your thoughts on it as well. And I got back to you, Coffey, and said that I would get back with you. And what's going to happen is, I'm going to have it talked about at our COW meeting, which is coming up. So if you would like to attend that COW meeting, you can give council the thoughts that you've been writing out to me as far as council's involvement.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that'd be our next COW meeting. What is the date? What date is that?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from
It's
today.
about 2 weeks from today. Just a short summary of how you would like council to get involved.
That's
Okay.
okay. I just want you all to know, like I was telling Michelle the other day, I think holding an interest meeting would be beneficial. So if we hold a meeting at the community center and then really share what we're doing and invite police, invite the fire department,
Right.
I think that would be
Get
beneficial.
an interest from them. I like that.
Yeah, in
I like
person. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Residents?
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, so it would be the residents,
Absolutely.
it's everybody's
Yes.
businesses, because We Thrive is not just about the residents, it's about the businesses as
Everybody.
well. We're a
Yes.
community, so
Yep.
we'll be inviting everyone.
Good job.
Anybody who has
Okay.
any part in Woodlawn
Gotcha.
is welcome
Okay.
to join. Yeah.
We'll make it happen. But again, thank you, Michelle, for coming out
Thank you,
tonight.
and welcome.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Tim, I apologize for cutting you off.
Nope, no worries.
You're back on.
Alrighty, Finance Committee, we reviewed various reports, including budget versus actual reports. To date, the village has collected 49% of budgeted revenues and expended 42% of appropriations. We also reviewed the general fund, where we noted the village collected 65% of budgeted general fund receipts and dispersed 59% of budgeted expenditures. We reviewed receipts and disbursements. We noted that the village collected $1,465,451 in receipts, and as Ms. Chandler noted, we dispersed $1,106,633 in expenditures. We reviewed a fund balance report as well as our bank rec. We also discussed our overtime report as well as our salary expense report, and had a brief discussion about recreations expenditures versus revenues.
All right. Any questions for Tim? All right. Having none, Law Director report.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to cover the legislation that we have for this evening's meeting. The first item that we'll be discussing is an ordinance that will prohibit adult use cannabis operations in the village. This includes dispensaries, cultivating operations, and processing operations. These are all commercial operations. As many of you know, when the law went into effect last December, one of the things that the law does allow is personal home grow, and that is not changed. That will still be the case. This only deals with the commercial aspect of it. When the law went into effect, it gave local subdivisions, political subdivisions, the ability to prohibit adult use cannabis operations, to limit the number, or to allow and regulate however they chose. So the village has opted to not allow those commercial operations in the village, so this ordinance will be the village exercising that right. We also have an ordinance establishing the ambulance transport industry grant fund within the village budget. As we've discussed in the past, whenever the village has a new funding source, it has to create a fund in order to account for that revenue and those expenditures. So this is the grant that was referred to earlier this evening, and provides the retention bonus for certain eligible members of the fire department. There's also an ordinance amending appropriations. This will increase appropriations by $83,000, and again, this is to account for the increased revenue from the grant that the village received for the firefighter retention bonuses. We have a resolution then authorizing the actual payment of those retention bonuses to the eligible members of the fire department. We then have a resolution that's going to authorize the municipal manager to enter into a contract with our engineer, and this will be to add geotechnical services for the Lee Crest Road Improvements Project. Once that project started to be evaluated, it was determined that additional geotechnical work was going to be needed in addition to the normal engineering services that the village has. So this resolution authorizes those additional services for that project. And then we have a resolution approving a change order on the Ronnie Road and Woodstock Drive improvement projects. And this will be the final change order on this project to close out the project. And then finally, we have a resolution that will approve the 2020-25 tax budget for the village. This is an annual thing that we have to do and report to the auditor. And that public hearing already took place.
Correct.
So those are the items that we'll have. If there's any questions, I can answer those now.
All right, having none, Mayor's report. Couple things I want to talk about again. Like a broken record, school's back open. I'm seeing a lot of speeding as I'm traveling in the morning. So I'm asking the public out there to watch your speeding through the village. We have children that are not only attending Woodlawn Elementary, but they are also on the top of the hill at IDEA. So I want to make sure that we are very cognitive of our speeding through the village. And then lastly, I just want to announce again on Monday, September the 2nd, which is the Labor Day holiday, we will be having the final splash, what is called the Mayor Pool's final pool party, which is the final splash. That is the last day of operation for this summer in the pool. So that event will begin at 1 p.m. We have DJ Kevy Kev that's going to come down and have a good time with us. So I ask if you and the family come on down and enjoy the day at the pool. That is all that I have. Vice Mayor, I do need an approval of my Mayor's Court monthly statement, please.
Certainly. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Mayor's Court monthly statement for the month of July 2024 in the amount of $35,407.67.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes?
Aye.
Very well. There are no nays. Okay, thank you. All right. We'll jump right into legislation.
First item is ordinance 23, 2024, an ordinance prohibiting adult-use cannabis operations, including cultivators, processors, and dispensaries in the village of Woodlawn pursuant to Chapter 3780 of the Ohio Revised Code.
I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 23, 2024.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 23, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the suspension, please.
Esther Boyd,
Did you hear me? I'm sorry.
I did. Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr.
Aye.
Well, I need a motion for passage of ordinance.
Yeah.
I need,
Sorry, go ahead.
I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 23, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion for passage of ordinance number 23, 2024.
Second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr.
Aye.
Very well.
The next item is ordinance 24, 2024, an ordinance establishing the ambulance transport industry grant fund within the village budget.
I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 24, 2024.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 24, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the ordinance, please.
Rosemary Brown,
On the suspension, I'm sorry, not the ordinance, on the suspension.
On the suspension.
Ms. Brown, you said aye. Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Very well. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 24, 2024.
I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance number 24, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
and Esther Boyd.
Well,
The next item is ordinance 25, 2024, an ordinance amending appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
very well. I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 25, 2024.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 25, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the suspension, please.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown.
Aye.
Very well. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 25, 2024.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance 25, 2024.
And I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
The next item is Resolution 26, 2024, a resolution authorizing the payment of a retention bonus to certain eligible employees in the fire department.
I need a motion for passage of resolution number 26, 2024.
I'll make a motion for passage of resolution number 26, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler.
Aye.
The next item is Resolution 27, 2024, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with CT Consultants for professional geotechnical services related to the Lee Crest Road Improvements Project.
I need a motion for passage of resolution number 27, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion for passage of resolution number 27, 2024.
Second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald.
Aye.
The next item is Resolution 28, 2024, a resolution approving a change order to the contract with Fred A. Neiman Company for the Ronnie Road and Woodstock Drive Improvements Project.
I need a motion for passage of resolution number 28, 2024.
I'll make a motion for passage for resolution number 28, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Stark.
I have a question. Is it
Yes.
okay to ask?
Yes.
This change order for, this Ronnie and Woodstock
Mhm.
does not include, repairs that was discussed.
No, so this change order relates to the work that was actually done on Mayview Forest, which was an add-on from the Cincinnati Waterworks. That money is reimbursed to us, actually, that amount plus more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aye.
And the last item is Resolution 29, 2024, a resolution approving and adopting the 2025 tax budget for the Village of Woodlawn and authorizing the Finance Director to submit the budget to the auditor.
I need a motion for passage of resolution number 29, 2024.
I'll make a motion for passage for resolution number 29, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Michelle Stark,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
Aye.
That's it?
Is there any new business that comes before this council? Having none, I need a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, August 27, 2024.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes?
Aye.
Aye, very well. Great meeting, team.
Thank you.
All
Dr.
right.
Waller?
Thanks again, Michelle. Coffee and friends.
Great presentation.